hey, I was making my game in a closet alone for 2-3 years now, and I'm finally ready to show it to the world. We're going to talk about playtesting, why it's important, some of the different aspects about what you're playtesting, and we're going to talk about the worst not playtesting experience I've ever had, like the worst thing that's ever happened to me because I didn't playtest something. Hey, this is Adam with Space Dodo, and today we're going to talk about playtesting and why it's important, because I keep seeing a lot of people post, like a lot, like way more than I'm comfortable ever reading, finally ready to show it to the world. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're in for a rude awakening when your game doesn't work. Because the reality is, when you're not playtesting something, you're making something that works for you on your device. Will it work for anyone else on their device? No. What I mean by anyone else, like, will it work for them? Like, will they know, will they intuit what button to press? Is your tutorial successful? Do they like it? Is it fun for anybody except you? Is it even fun for you? Because how could you objectively look at something that you just stared at for too long? For example, with YouTube videos, you know you get a video straight wrong when you upload it and you've been staring at it for too long and you don't take a break from it or anything, and then you upload the video, and then, you know, like 2 or 3 days later you come back and you're like, how come it's not getting any views? And you take a critical eye look at it and you're like, oh, because it's really garbage. That's gonna happen to your game. I make a lot of short games, little games, but with the company I work for is making a very big game. We're making a VR dating app. We're in playtesting right now, and the playtesting is super important. This is like our second round of playtesting, not to mention all the internal playtesting that we do. This is like a public playtest, and man, the playtest is going pretty well, but it was because we did lots of testing with lots of people on lots of different devices, and we're still learning things about the application. We're still learning what devices work best and why. And this is just a technical standpoint. People are having trouble understanding, where to download the app, and we're trying to learn what's intuitive for people, like how the movement system works. Is that intuitive? Is the social interaction system intuitive? The invite system intuitive? This is just design questions that you can only guess on until you actually have real data about. So that's what's going on. When you're playtesting something, you're trying to playtest both the design and the technical functionality. The design part will be a little bit more easy to intuit. You might be surprised about a few things, but there will be some things where you're like, okay, I was kind of thinking that might go too slow, or oh, I was kind of thinking that could be a problem. You might be surprised by a few things, but really you're just going to be trying to figure out the curve of your game more than you're going to be figuring out like big revelations that you need a start button, right? There's that side of playtesting, and then on the other side of playtesting, you're going to find out if anyone even wants to download your game. This is another thing. So it's funny. I made an axe throwing game and a baseball game, and the baseball game gets the most views and people talking about it. It's both VR. And the axe throwing game, that's the one I thought was really going to get some attention. I thought everybody's going to love this axe throwing game. And you know what happened? It just gets less attention. Less people talk about it, less people download it. It's the game that's probably got the most polished of the two, the one I was most proud of the two. But the baseball game people like it more. A little pitch for my itch in the description. So I spend a short amount of time on most of my games. I'm working on that spinny chair game right now. That's coming. I've moved recently and a lot of other things. So I've got the game. It's done-ish. I'm building the AI for it right now. That game's going to need some playtesting too. Another playtesting situation I had with these short games I made Pac-Man in VR. And when I released it, like a lot of people were saying, like, I don't even want to try it because you have teleporting and not locomotion. I did not know that was going to be a sticking point for like a simple little Saturday afternoon, download it, it's free, play it for a minute, and then turn it off game. Like the scope of what I was hoping for out of this game was so low that I was just shocked that people were like, it could have been a fun game, but you ruined it because you did not include locomotion. Knowing what I know now, it would have been worth the time to do that, but I didn't even know that was a sticking point until I put it out there. Again, that game, I spent about a week on it, and I put it out there, and I got some feedback. I just don't understand how people are making games and applications, anything, without feedback. I even get feedback on every single video I make. A lot of it's not fun to read. You with YouTube comments are awesome because between a couple different channels, I'll get like nice comment, nice comment, nice comment. And then I wake up one morning and someone's like, "You just wasted my life with this thing," and I'm like, I gotta just bury that feeling and keep moving, because putting yourself out there is scary. Putting yourself out there is just something you gotta get used to. It's just like jumping in a cold pool. The easiest way to do it is just to jump in, and it never really changes. You're always going to get this feeling of like, I don't want to jump in a cold pool, and that's the stage fright talking. But you just jump in the cold pool anyway, because what you can do is you can tell your brain you're not gonna die. You can prove it. This channel, I've got a lot of videos hidden because it's not a tech channel anymore. So some of the old tech videos I've still got up, but a lot of tech videos are gone. But between the two channels that I've done the majority of my YouTube work on, I've got and my friend Steven helped me on this channel a ton for a while. But between these two channels, there's over 2 million views on them. Now that's super low, right, for a YouTube star. But for smaller channels like these are, that, sizable number. And it's hard to think that I've been in front of at least, roughly probably a little less than 1 million people have seen me present something. And sometimes it's not gone over well. Sometimes those views are not super nice. And you just kind of go, okay, here's the deal though. You know what happens when I walk into a grocery store? Nothing. You know what happens when I go and appear in public somewhere else? Nothing. No one knows who I am, no one cares who I am, and no one ever will. And that's fine, that's a good thing. Because when you put yourself out there, especially on the internet, right? So I think for you guys, playtesting in a closet, that's the problem. That's what I have to constantly get over, as I kind of go, what? I can't do this thing. No one's gonna like it. It's gonna be awful. Whatever. Blah 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 blah. And then I just jump in the cold pool because I want to do it still, and I end up swimming. I'm still learning from this experience. I'm still learning how to make better videos. I'm still learning how to make better video games. And you can't learn. Another part of my argument, you can't learn without putting yourself out there, unless you have people telling you where you messed up, what worked for them, what they liked about something. You don't even have positive feedback. Think about that. It's not that you're scared of negative feedback, but you won't even get your positive feedback unless you actually throw your application out there. So I promised you I'd tell you the worst playtesting situation I ever had. So I made this little proof of concept game for this YouTube channel called Luck Is Me. He told me I'm allowed to use it. So I'm taking you up on it. It's been a while, but I'm taking you up on that luck in case you happen to watch this video. Nice guy, funny channel. Check it out. The way this worked is I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I think I have an idea for a game that would be kind of based off your channel and your comedy, and I want to pursue it with you. And he was like, I love the idea. I'm way too busy to worry about any of this stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I can do a lot of the work myself. And he was like, I don't know, I'm really busy. I want to do it, and I want to do it right, and I'm really way too busy to be able to take on this task right now. So I thought, here's what I'll do. I'll make a little proof of concept game and kind of show him that he'll just have to help with some of the overarching ideas of it, and not necessarily have to make the game. Because he had so many animations, I was able to take these animations, rip the pagers out of them, and put them into a video game, and it looked really good. I was really happy with how it looked. I had a couple mistakes though. I was a lot newer to this is the first and only 2D game I've ever made, actually. So I was learning a little bit about that in Unreal. So I made this game, and I spent again, 3 days is kind of like how much time I spend on anything. But I mean, like, when I say 3 days, I'm not talking about 3 afternoons. I mean like 3 like full solid days on it, like a game jam, like a full game jam worth of time. And I finished this thing, and it's kind of funny. There's only like, I'll link it below, but there's only like 5 interactions that you do in the game.
It's the part after this I'm worried about.
It's really short, but I kind of was just trying to show off. It's a comedy channel, right? And I was trying to show them, hey, you know what's gonna happen? We can have like interactive things where like that kind of lets you interact with the comedy and the situation a little bit as you watch it. It's gonna be an exploration game where really the goal is just to like explore and kind of find your jokes throughout the world in like different situations. We can kind of just be you in your world of comedy that you created.
Oh, look at Edgar.
And some of them are going to be a little more passive, like you walk by and it just kind of happens. And some of them are going to be a little more active, like it cues a cutscene. And so the cueing a cutscene part was really important. And I had that working pretty well because I did not play test it. I just finished the game and I sent it to Luck. And then after I sent it to him, I was a nervous wreck because I was like, what if he doesn't like it? What if it doesn't work? So I told my friend Steven, who on this channel, I was like, hey Steven, will you play this game for me and tell me what you think of it? Steven plays the game and he's like, I don't see anything, it just goes black and I hear a bunch of sound. Fun fact, it only worked on my computer. And like that's like a saying I used to say, like, what if it only works on my computer, right? Which is, you think that's ridiculous. It's got to work on most people's computers, right? It literally only worked on my computer because the way Unreal works, I'm not going to get too technical, something I'm well aware of now, but at the time just hadn't experienced before. Most of the time it does what's like a dynamic link. It'll link to something inside your project. So if it's inside your project, it'll see it when you package the game. When I packaged the game, it had a hard link to the videos, to the cutscenes on my hard drive. They fixed for that, make it a dynamic link, but I had to like manually set that. The way I imported it was wrong. That was really the problem. And but it worked on my computer. It worked great. And then my friend Steven was like, I just see black and don't hear anything. That's a big deal. This guy, I'm trying to convince him to waste his time working with me in a collaboration. And I send him this thing and I completely waste his time. I'm like, hey, check this thing out. And I prove his exact point that he doesn't have the time to fool with this. And he gets to figure out that he can't even play this game. I'm sure what probably happened is he was like, okay, I'll give it a look. And he probably pulled it up. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since. I've not bothered him because I've already wasted his time. But I was like, I'm just imagining in my head. He probably pulled it up and was like, okay, I'll give it a look real quick. And then it didn't work. And he's just like, I told this guy, I don't have time. And that was probably it. Very quickly, I figured out the problem. I fixed it. I re-released it and I sent him another email. Being like, no, wait, I fixed it. In case you actually played it, this is the version. It works. I promise. Gone. Opportunity, gone. I don't know if that opportunity would have been there in the first place. Like I said, he's been super nice when I've talked to him, and his videos are super funny. So check out that channel, subscribe. I still watch him all the time. But I just wanted to share that cautionary tale of a time where I could have just tested something. And so that's the last point really, is like what a playtest is. You don't have to necessarily go, hey internet, look at this thing immediately. Playtest it privately first, internally. Get your wife to look at it. My wife looks at every game I do, and the first thing she says is, it should look better every time. And you think I would learn. You think I would be like, yeah, it should look better, because she's always right about it. But I'm like, no, it's okay, because it's just a little proof of concept game jam thing. And she's like, but it really should look better, right? And you can follow this advice. They're going to be people who are honest with you are going to give you the best advice. When I don't care if someone succeeds or not, kind of like when somebody shows me a tattoo and it doesn't look very good, I'm like, there's nothing you can do about it, right? So you're just like, it looks great, but the reality is maybe it doesn't or whatever. But they can't untattoo it. So what are you gonna do? A stranger's like, hey, what do you think about this thing? And you're like, it was fine or whatever. But honesty is really what happens when you're trying to help someone. Now, there's a difference between honesty and being a jerk, in a different video. But if someone's honest with you, let that help you. Get rid of that feeling of like they're trying to hurt you. They're not. Let that help you. It's like if someone's stuck in your eye, you gotta have to like sit still, uncomfortably hold your eye open while they get that speck out. That'll make all the difference in the world after the speck is out. But it feels uncomfortable to let that happen, right? So for that analogy, that's what playtesting is. It's where you have to awkwardly leave your eye open and say, like, touch what I'm sensitive about. The thing that I've spent a lot of time and energy and effort on, I need you to tell me why it's not as good as I hope it is, and why all of my insecurities are valid. But that process will let you work out how to actually make a better thing. Because what are you actually trying to do? Are you trying to make something that works for you and yourself, by yourself? Or are you trying to make something that other people can find enjoyment from too? And I think you'll find that a lot of people will actually enjoy your app, your game. I think they're going to enjoy it. I think they're going to like it. I think you're going to find people who maybe 10 people like it. That's 10 people who enjoyed your experience. Quell your expectations a little bit. Be happy anytime your project succeeds. When you learn something, take that as a personal growth success as well, because the mantra is fail faster. But really, if you're not failing, you're not trying. Failing is just the first step, and you got to take a victory out of that failure. Thanks for watching. I'm Adam with Space Dodo. We've got fun VR and not VR games on this channel coming. Some are already here, some are coming, talking about games that inspire these games and games I'm making and the process of making games. If you like video games and stuff, hang out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.